You open your eyes in the sand and nobody comes to check if you're breathing. That's the first thing you learn about the wasteland. Nobody is coming. Not for you. You weren't born into a bunker, a fortress, or a warlord's bloodline. You were born into dirt, and dirt doesn't care whose baby you are. Somewhere out there, men with names people actually remember are doing legendary things. Chrome-painted death cults, chase convoys, a war for a place called the Citadel. None of that is your story. Your story is smaller, and it's a lot more likely to be the real one, because for every warboy screaming toward Valhalla, there are 100 nobodies just trying to see tomorrow. Here's your first real choice, and it isn't much of one. In this world, if you don't have skills, fuel, or blood worth taking, you've got two options: become useful or become nothing. Useful means labor. Nothing means you're already dead, you just haven't noticed yet. If you're strong, you dig. You crank. You haul scrap under a sun that wants you dead just for standing in it. If you're sick or thin or just unlucky enough to have the wrong blood type, you might end up strapped to a rig, feeding your veins into someone stronger than you, one transfusion at a time. You don't get a name in that job. You get a number, maybe a cage, and a warlord's polite reminder that you should be grateful he hasn't killed you yet. And if you're a woman, your value gets measured by whether you can be bred, which is its own quiet horror nobody bothers explaining to you kindly. You're not a person to the men running the water towers and the fuel depots. You're inventory. Livestock with opinions they'd prefer you kept to yourself. Every single day starts the same way. You check your water. Water isn't a resource here, it's a religion, and the men who control it aren't leaders. They're gods with taps. You'll stand in a crowd of a few hundred other nobodies while someone up on a rig cracks open the valve for exactly as long as he feels like it, and you'll watch grown men fight over the runoff. Miss the window and you're thirsty until tomorrow, hoping tomorrow actually comes. Gasoline runs the same way. It's not fuel, it's currency, status, and survival, all poured into the same drum. You'll spend entire days siphoning dead engines for a few liters that some warlord's crew will take from you at the first roadblock anyway. Because that's the other rule out here. Whatever you have, someone with a bigger gun already considers it theirs. You learn to build things from corpses. Not people, machines. Every vehicle out here is a graveyard stitched into something that still runs. You'll strip 3 dead trucks to keep one alive, weld armor plates onto a chassis that's already died twice, and pray the engine holds together longer than the men chasing you do. Nothing here is new. Nothing here is whole. Everything is scavenged, patched, and one bad turn away from becoming scrap again, including you. The real terror isn't the desert, it's the road. Convoys move fuel, water, and people between strongholds, and every convoy is a target. If you're assigned to ride one, you already know the odds. Raiders don't negotiate. They don't take prisoners for ransom because nobody's paying ransom out here. They take what's on the truck, and if you're in the way, you become part of what's taken. You've heard the stories about the big players. A one-eyed tyrant who controls the water and calls himself immortal. A warlord who trades in bullets instead of gold. Another who trades in people instead of anything at all. To them, you're not an ally or an enemy. You're a resource line item. A war machine needs crew. A breeding program needs bodies. A raid needs numbers to throw at the enemy first, so the ones who actually matter survive the exchange. That's your function in their story. Acceptable loss. You get assigned to a convoy run. Water tanker, 3 escort vehicles, a driver who's done this 11 times and tells you that's 11 more than most people manage. You believe him for about 40 minutes, right up until the horizon fills with engines that aren't yours. They come out of the dust like it spat them out on purpose, spiked cars, chainsaw rigs, men screaming things that don't need translating. Your convoy scatters formation trying to save the tanker, because the tanker matters more than any one of you does. And everyone on this run knows it, even if nobody says it out loud. Bullets don't wait for you to catch up on that math. You survive because the truck next to yours doesn't. Its driver takes the hit meant for your line, and in the 2 seconds that buys, your rig peels off into a gully raiders can't follow. Nobody thanks you for surviving. Nobody thanks the man who didn't. His body gets stripped for parts along with his vehicle before you're even done shaking. That's the lesson underneath every other lesson out here. There is no finish line, only the next shortage. You get back to the stronghold, you get your ration, and you get back to work, because the alternative to being useful again tomorrow is being nothing today. The people running this world don't need you to be a hero. They need you to be replaceable, and replaceable people don't get a story told about them. They get a shift schedule. Maybe you last year's like this. Maybe you claw your way into being someone's trusted crew instead of someone's spare parts. Maybe you even get old, if old means anything past 40 out here. But you'll never be the one they write Chrome legends about. You'll be the guy who kept the engine running so the legend could drive away. You'll be the woman who filled the water so the warlord could stand on a tower and call himself a god. You are the machinery underneath the myth, and machinery doesn't get remembered. It just gets used until it stops working, and then it gets replaced by the next nobody who wakes up in the sand. That's the wasteland. Not the chase, not the chrome. Just you, the dirt, and one more day you weren't guaranteed.